Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Okay! Welcome to FMLFPL Milan.
It's Walsh.
What's happening, bro?
Hey, man. Welcome to international break hell.
Yeah, I'm so tired. And then to just go from, a long traveling weekend to international break where I know it's just a fucking nothing for 2 weeks. It's just bad.
Yeah. Sorry.
You should be. At least we have the glossary now. I forgot that we never mentioned that.
Yeah, we've got a table of contents.
Yeah, Kunal.
Yeah.
Straight in.
So you're going to link it or something?
Yeah, I guess I'll just link it in the show notes or
I haven't
whatever.
looked at it in a while. Is it growing?
It's definitely grown. I'm looking right now. It's got all the fucking nicknames. Like there's even like links to the price changes rant and, Tony Clogs is even in there for Anthony.
Yeah, that hasn't
That's
been
brand new. Yeah, Western is in there for West Ham.
Oh yeah, I put that one in.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we have one of our Discorders, Kunal, made like a wiki for glossary of terms. So if you want to kind of peruse that or make any additions, please feel free.
Yeah, I think it's just public editing, right?
Yeah, it's just like Wikipedia. I guess anyone can do that.
I love that.
There you go.
Good job, Kunal.
Thank you for doing that. Yeah, that was great.
It's so good, actually. You want to start, maybe run down your wildcard team and how that went and all that shit?
Yeah, so I got 60 points. I don't know, pretty average, it seems like, if not below. I mean, I got the least amount of points of all the leagues I'm in, so that's it's about right for my wild card. So I finished. I have Pope, and then I have Sufal, Trips, Patterson at the back with Dalot and Fofana. Pereira, Martinelli, Foden, De Bruyne, and Mo in mid. And my forwards are Mitro, Isak, and Holland. Captain Holland, whatever. Got some points. I don't know. My team's fine.
Yeah, Captain Holland is becoming very whatever, which you hate to see, but that's FPL. And
that's the game.
By the way, you're comfortably above average. Average overall, which doesn't really matter that much, is 49.4, but even the average in the top 10K is 52.36. And then the average among the elite teams is 57.85. So across the board, an above average showing, especially the week you wildcarded when all of the lore is against you, to like get a big fat red the week that you wildcarded. I think you did a good job.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is I can look at my team during the international break, still keeping my goalkeeper no clean sheets streak intact. Yeah. Which, if I play my cards right, I can hopefully keep it going into game week 17. I don't think it's impossible to think that Pope won't keep a clean sheet until then.
Nothing's impossible. Yeah.
I'm going to hold out hope. Hold out hope there.
Joe DiMaggio is very scared right now. Cal Ripken's very scared of you breaking records.
Yeah. I mean, 8 in and still having that is pretty good stuff.
8 in and no cleans is really hard.
So we'll keep it going. How about you? How'd you do?
Pretty good. 68. I mean, heavily aided by a fucking Harrison Reed 10-pointer, which was very calculated.
You spell Boyd Reed. And you just found him.
That's a fucking fact.
You found your George Boyd. First goal of his actual career. Bam, 10-pointer. Straight in.
Yeah, Max Buns, who is just hysterical.
Fulham attack.
I mean, when they're playing fucking NFO, you got to do what you got to do. So.
And the one who gets points is the one who's literally never scored a senior goal in his life.
Yeah. No Mitro points, no Pereira points. Pereira not taking corners, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I got a 10 from Reed. Was very happy to wake up on Sunday and see a Saliba's 15-pointer. I mean, you can't not have a fat green arrow when your 4.5 DM scores his first ever goal and your 4.6 center back gets a 15-pointer. So basically, yeah, I'm fucking flying. I mean, both of us went up 500K places. I'm 471K overall now. Bench is strong. Team is strong. I mean, my team for next week, we'll get there later, but I'm still probably going to bench like 2 guys for Nico because just the way the fixtures have lined up. But my team is strong. My team is deep. So yeah, looking good. Iverson, I mean, at least he got me, a 0-pointer. And
it's the same as Ward.
It wasn't negative, at least. Yeah, exactly.
Did Ward get negative? No, he didn't. He made
probably
5
not.
saves.
I think he made a bunch of saves, but I'm just saying, saves, like, I was scared of getting negative points from the spot, and so.
Yeah, he got 0.
Yeah, Ward got 0.
Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically as if Iverson didn't play, but
or as if you had Ward who played.
Or as if I had Ward who played.
You're fucking in.
Or I started Guaita. Yeah, I mean, it was just like a net win to not make a transfer on that spot. It was just like a huge gainer for me.
Or you took a hit for Pope and you would have less points.
Less points. -4 is being -2s. Yeah, I don't know. As you can tell, I'm very fucking groggy and fucked up right now. So it's like, it is what it is, brother.
Sorry.
What?
That you're groggy and.
Oh, bro, it's okay. Potting.
Just saying sorry.
Potty.
Potty?
Boo. Potty trend. Potting is the best part, dude. It's a nice like little treat for me. A little treat. Shout out to the 3 FMLVL Prize League Mug League winners for September. 2-game week a month for the fucking mug winners. Good job by you stealing a mug for all these people. We got Miko Repo, aka the Ruiville Gunners, Luke Barlow in second place, aka And the Balls, Ben Ingram in third place, aka Ben's Barmy Army. I will send out the email looking for your info very soon. And then shout out to the leader of the FMLVL Public League still, Greg Haddon, Kwang FC, 742nd in the world. Pretty fucking good, brother. Pretty fucking good. So you might have guessed that this is going to be, kind of a wonky episode. We're not going to pod. If you're a Patreon subscriber, we'll be back in a week and a half for the Friday of My Life before Game Week 9. If you're not a Patreon subscriber, we'll be back in 2 weeks for a pod after Game Week 9 is basically what we're doing. So
that'll be Monday, October 3rd.
Yeah. International break. Terrible, as usual.
Yeah.
Wind out of sails, as usual. What do you want to talk about, dude?
Well, I mean, I think the first place we need to begin is, it's Monday, September 19th, 7:55 Pacific time over here, and Brodge still has his job. What can you say about this fraudulent human?
It's clearly, it's become very clear to me that it's just a financial thing now. Like, I just don't think they have the money to pay him out his contract and hire a new manager who also they have to pay.
I mean, who owns this fucking team that they can't get a manager?
It's still the family of the guy who died in the helicopter, I think.
So they just lost it all because he was the only one capable of
their son is probably a fucking fuck up.
And just like doing it all.
Yeah, the fucking...
They can't buy a new man. Are you fucking kidding me?
Doing helicopter rolls in his grave. Yeah, they're a fucking nightmare. I don't know. Everyone says they're trying to sell. Meanwhile, they're tanking the value of their own asset that they're trying to sell by keeping Brodge.
It's disgusting. They're going to be in the Flampionship. And they're like, hey, guys, does anyone still want this club?
They have 1 fucking point, dude.
There's no way that anybody who watched that game after everything that's transpired would say, let's give him more time. It's just absurd. It's absolutely
almost none
absurd.
of their games. I actually think they played pretty decently for a good chunk of the game.
Hour.
Yeah, for a good, decent chunk of the game. It was like, Leicester are here to play. Like, they scored some goals. They put some pressure on. Hugo had to make some saves. And then, like, as we've seen in many of the games so far this season, maybe second half-ish, like the wheels just completely fall off. They have no idea what they're doing.
Dude, they give up 4 goals a game. 3 goals a game or whatever. They have given up so many goals. What are they? They've got 22 goals conceded in 7 games.
Yeah, so just over
3 a game. The thing that was the most upsetting about watching this game was when Son came on and the last like 15, 20 minutes, obviously Son hat trick, that was never in doubt, but they kept doing and setting up the exact same way and conceding the exact same goals. Yeah. They could have given Ship 9 or 10. I mean, that was possible.
I mean, Son missed the actual best chance that he got.
The best chance he had. And they just didn't change. It was like, what I was just watching is like, what are you committing career suicide? Like, what are you doing? He kept telling him, go do the same thing. Go do the same thing. Go do the same. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. It was one of the most insane things I've ever seen from manager.
Yeah, I mean, it was very much tools downing to me. Like the players fucking gave up. Like at some point in there, it was just like, what the fuck are we doing? You know, it was just like, you know, remember the Liverpool days when, you know, they had the one amazing season, but surrounding those seasons where, you know, all day, every day, the center backs were just put in like the absolute worst possible position. Just, you know, Lovren in a 1v2, you know, wide open, you know, just like the Brodge days of like, you know, Skirtle and fucking, you know, Emery Chan playing center back, and it's just fucking nightmare. It's just like, this is what it always comes down to, I guess, with him. He just, I don't know.
It's just pathetic. It's pathetic. Yeah, I don't feel bad for Leicester fans because I don't really know any, and the ones that I have come across are like Arlo White, so I'm glad he's miserable. But generally speaking, you know, I mean, this is just an abomination, and it just needs to end.
Yeah, it's really actually wild to think. There's got to be a 30 for 30 on Leicester going from, you know, division fucking fuckland to winning the Prem to regular top 4 competitor to worst team by a lot in the division.
Right? Did they win the thing?
They beat Chelsea and won one of the
FA
cups.
Cup.
Yeah. Under Brodge. And then now where they are. It's just
now
really
they're
crazy.
the Gucci belt version.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, Al asked about Matto. He said, what are your thoughts on Matto? Amazing fixtures. He's shooting a lot. Is it worth the punt despite how bad the team is? Like, I still kind of think, but
I mean, we're so diametrically opposed on this.
Yeah, it's still just like, I mean, I'm counting the down to when he has to leave. He has to sack himself at some point, right? Or he's never going to get a job again.
He's been trying.
He's actually trying.
Dude, the press conference after, he's like,
I didn't see.
He was like, no matter what happens, I think that the manager, like the owners have respect for me. I'm just like, what are you talking about? It's insane. He's trying to fucking get fired and get paid, and they're just calling his bluff. I'm like, haha.
Yeah, you think we're embarrassed? We don't give a fuck about Premier League football.
Dude, I'm not my father.
Yeah, exactly.
Get fucked.
He's like, I don't watch the games. You think I fucking care?
There's a reason why I wasn't on that helicopter.
Oh man, that's brutal. That's so good. Oh, we're the worst. Dude.
I know, it's really bad.
It's really bad.
Yeah, the old woman dies and it just brings out the worst.
Yeah,
I guess. That's what happens.
I mean, they got Wout Fash. I don't know why they're not competing, man.
He had a couple, whatever. But that's the Leicester thing. It's just so upsetting.
So continuing on that, all I did was just kind of group some questions. But Ray said, do you have any plans on getting a Bournemouth attacker for game week 10? Home Leicester. I know we shouldn't make moves based on a single match, but not targeting Leicester in their current state seems negligent. So, I mean, until the sacking happens, it's the best fixture in the league, right?
For attack, yeah, by a lot.
For attack.
Yeah. But
for
but
clean,
they play
it's not.
NFO, not Bournemouth next game.
Yeah, I don't know why he's skipping NFO and going straight to Bournemouth in game week 10, but
Do not
whatever.
pass go, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm triple captaining Nico this week, so
Yeah, triple
tells you
captain
where I'm at.
Benjano.
Yeah, BJ, fucking MGW.
No, I mean,
don't know.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's
to
a
the
great
point
fixture.
where we're doing crazy shit just because they're going to, ship 6 every game. But, it's just a good one. But,
Yeah, I don't think it's
that's about
ever
as far as it
been
goes.
that point, unless a premium is playing them. It's
And
like
you want a captain or something.
Yeah, Leeds Bielsa, I think, was the closest to this. It was just like
Yeah.
if Bruno, Mo, Son Kane, whatever premium is playing against that team, like you should probably get them in captain because like
Yeah.
quad return. But yeah, bro. And then I mean, Son also did a hat trick in fucking 20 minutes or whatever. Jitterbug said Walsh mentioned a couple of weeks ago that he thought the upcoming Spurs fixtures were Son games and he's going to be a better pick than Kane. Do you still hold that belief? Is he a confidence player who's simply going to come good now that he's had it, or is Kane still the more reliable hold? And Bennett said, I missed the Friday deadline, lucked into accidentally keeping Son on my wild card rather than swapping him to Kulu. I was planning to transfer him out straight for Bruno, but Son's a confidence player. Is he now a good hold? He's always been a good hold, I guess. I mean, if he was starting... If we got indications that he was going to start the Leicester game, the league, and the fucking guess guy, it's not really a league, whatever, I still probably would have done like Moda Son, just because.
I mean, we would have
had
had to have like Rich or Kulu get injured for that to happen. I mean, we obviously we saw and read this situation correctly this week.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's just clear. He came off the bench for half an hour. But yeah, I mean, moving forward, it's obviously nice to see that he bagged his goals and he, got this monkey off his back.
Yeah.
Looking at their upcoming fixtures, I still believe that he's a better, FPL pick than Kane. Nothing's really changed that, but for this week, obviously, he wasn't. Even though he got more points. Yeah. But I mean, it's potentially a hold. I think, we did kind of come very strong on Mo because of the last performance when Liverpool had their fit players in their last Champions League game against Ajax. I mean, they have home against Brighton, who have that new Italian guy they just hired, and then they have at Arsenal, which, could be a decent fixture, and they have home City. So, you still have these kind of tricky ones for Mo a little bit, the next few.
Yeah.
But, they're all good picks. I mean, these are all good players. They're all good picks. You just you choose them, and then you hope they get the points when they're in your team, kind of deal.
Yeah, I still don't really like the Spurs fixtures, and outside of the Leicester game, they've still been like pretty bad. Like attack wise, underlying, it's a performance, eye tests. Like they're a very underwhelming team, except for the Leicester game. So I still am like, I don't know. There's other premiums I'd probably rather have. But Spurs and Liverpool have the identical next two fixtures, except Liverpool's Brighton's at home and Spurs are both away. So,
right.
I prefer Liverpool.
Yeah. But then it changes, but yeah.
Yeah. Then it gets bad.
Yeah. But again, I mean, I think we didn't really learn anything about Spurs in this game. It was just such a ridiculous farce. So I think that the North London Derby will be a nice one to get a handle on, but generally, right? I mean, I think we've been pretty consistent saying with Spurs that we haven't been too thrilled with their FPL like performances from an FPL standpoint. For the attackers. So we'll see. We'll see how things go. I mean,
that just hasn't changed. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I mean, maybe Son's going to just start clicking again, and they're going to, turn these stagnant displays to actually slotting a couple of their chances and putting 3 past some. But
yeah. What else happened this week?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the weekend was kind of underwhelming in general, I think, other than that single, game which just had fireworks. But, I mean, Villa, I don't know, they won ugly. They just...
They smothered them. I mean, I was actually like, it reminded me that Villa's still a good defensive team, because they're a good defensive team because they sacrifice everything in order to be a good defensive team. They're totally fine producing next to nothing in attack, but they did, to their credit, completely and utterly shut down anything Southampton were trying to do, who did not get a remote sniff in that game.
Yeah, and they lost Kamara early, and he was like put 3 8s on, and they still were doing the good things there. So I mean, I think you look at like Mings is like 4-3 still. I think he came in with max bones, is the kind of thing, and they do have a good fixture little run. If they're gonna sort of morph into that and keep consistently doing that, because that's what we've been saying with Stevie right since he got there, was that he's trying to keep them compact and solid and play for the clean and that kind of shit. It's not, they could be a good source of cheap defender rotation, even though they were sort of like laughable only a couple games ago. But it looks like he's sort of turned things around there, and they're just playing defensive football and again, they do have good fixtures until the World Cup. So I think that's something that happened.
I definitely think that's real. I mean, that was Bry's question. He said, Villa have a great fixture run, but can you put on any of them when Gerrard still doesn't know his best team, which is like, LOL. Yeah, I mean, I get it. They're so underwhelming. They're also just so horrible to watch. You should do everything in your power to never watch a Villa game, honestly.
Yeah.
But
it's bad.
That said,
is going to be the worst game of the year.
That said, the thing that we were kind of talking about on Discord a little bit is like, who's the manager that most influenced Gerrard and he played most of his career under? It's fucking Rafa. We're watching Rafa. Like, we're watching someone imitate Rafa. This is a team that just, under any control that they have in a game, is defensive, and all they're trying to do is not concede chances. The way they attack is, bad and not fluid, and crosses, and just looking for a moment of individual brilliance. But they're going to be tight defensively. They're just going to be.
Yeah, it's just tough when they lost Diego Carlos, and looking at they don't have cash. I mean, Young's been fine. He'll be fine for a few games. He doesn't have to get overly taxed, but it's still like back to the Mings Konsa thing where they do and have struggled together. Just in general, they kind of get found out. Yeah, but everyone's so cheap. I mean, 4-3, 4-4. We're talking here, so it's a good piece to rotate if if that's what you're looking for.
And like you said, that's a thing that one of few things that probably changed this week is like teams who are wildcarding now is your fifth defender maybe Mings or something. You get like Patterson and Mings, to round it out. Like, that's good. That's just good.
Yeah.
So that happened.
City rolled. No news there.
Yeah.
I mean, Newcastle 1-1 Bournemouth was obviously...
That was an interesting one.
Yeah. The thing with Newcastle, like, they're still looking at this team with no Wilson and with no Callum, no St. Max.
Yeah.
Almiron should be nowhere near the starting 11. He's played way too many minutes. He started every fucking game this year. He's terrible.
He's so bad.
He just fucking sucks. He fucking sucks. Fraser started this game. He's fucking past it. He should be back at Bournemouth. He should not be on this team. He's a squad player. I mean, you lose a couple of these pieces, and then all of a sudden you look at the team and it's like, well, they can't do anything. They can't create anything. They can't do a fucking thing. And, I was pretty concerned about Isak's like overall performance. I thought he kept trying to pull out wide. He wasn't making striker runs when the ball was getting pulled out wide. He was kind of trying to still just occupy men and kind of find half spaces instead of just making that near post run or the far post run when you're like, where is the striker?
Yeah.
I mean, it just seemed like, looking back at, those games, like we did those scouting clips on him and seeing like how comfortable he is dribbling on a counter attack, like, or running when the ball is going towards goal, like back to goal, when they were building up and they had the ball in the final third with possession with men, like I was just like, what are you doing? Like he just looked nowhere near getting FPL points. So I was a little bit concerned. I mean, very lucky to get the pen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, he was nowhere. He was not good for points in this game.
No.
So,
Yeah, no,
they have
I
Fulham.
totally agree. Yeah.
They have Fulham after the break. Hopefully these guys are back. I mean, we won't know. I'm sure even in 2 weeks' time, Edward will not tell us any truths. But without St. Max specifically, I think it's problematic. And, I was just concerned about that.
Like in regards to Fulham, that seems like a great game for him to me, because Fulham are not going to park, and they're not going to, like they want the ball. They're going to play for the ball. There's counterattacking space. It seems a lot easier in that way to play against them. I just feel like it's easier in general to be, when you have a brand new player, to just be like, we're countering, and he's just like, cool, I can just run and just like, try stuff and get in the box or whatever. But I was with you on the performance versus Bournemouth. I mean, it just felt like he was so like isolated. They didn't have a plan to get him the ball, and they just put in million crosses. It felt like to just basically nowhere. Like Bournemouth was very happy for every cross that was hit. They were very happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, Joelinton was getting all their chances. I was going insane on Joe Willock, and I thought, I don't know.
Yeah, he got better.
He had a good 10 minutes before he got subbed.
Yeah.
Generally, he's just like fucking everything up and not.
Yeah.
It was definitely the worst Newcastle performance I've seen this season.
Yeah, and it was pretty out of nowhere. I mean, there were fucking people in our Discord being like, "Oh, like why is everyone triple Newcastle?" It's like, because they've been really good. I mean, I don't care that they were like one win. We care about the performances way more, right? Like they were putting up like big XG, big shot numbers against Palace, Wolves, like threatening against Liverpool, scored 3 and really dangerous for City. Like they were doing stuff.
And Bruno G was back.
Bruno's back. Yeah, it wasn't like we just made something up or just like making up reasons to get players, And
I mean, the goal conceded it's like only fucking shot. They switched off. It was just one of those where it was just like, well, fuck me, but
yeah.
I mean, they did dominate the game, but they didn't at the same time create or, a draw is like fair, to me, it's like, it's a fair result.
Totally.
Draw is fair.
There's a stat called expected threat that is
X threat.
Newer.
Where is that on the ICT? That's X threat.
I don't know, actually.
Derived from threat.
Yeah, exactly. It's like basically a way of describing the positions that a team got in, right? So it's like if a team gets the ball, because XG is only shots, right? So it only counts if the shot gets off. XT is like if you get the ball in really dangerous areas, how often on average does that turn into a goal, basically? And I feel like in this particular case, it's very reflective of the game where Newcastle struggled a lot to put up XG. Their non-penalty XG was between 0.8 and 1.2, depending on the thing, but their XT was over 2, just over 2, because they were in all of these areas. They kept getting like an overlap, and it was Miggy, and he's in the box, and blah, blah, blah. And then like they just couldn't turn that stuff into shots. I feel like the cutback never worked, not once.
Yeah.
And it was just not fluid. It was just a bad performance, like you said.
I think Miguel Almiron is one of the worst buys in like Premier League history.
Well, I mean, at least he's like fit and runs around. He's a decent squad player, right?
But he's not used as a squad player. He played 3,000 minutes.
That's not his fault.
Well, it is. I'm not saying it's him, but I'm saying as the buy and what he represents and what they've given him the responsibility is like, I mean, how many players could have been worth? He played 3,000 minutes a few years ago. He played 2,400 minutes. He played 18.
Yeah.
He's fucking awful. He's awful. He's not good enough.
So bad. He's
just
so
not
bad.
good enough. It's not good enough. And like they don't move on. I don't know how they haven't moved on from this yet.
That's like the worst part than the buy. It's like he should either be like the last guy on your bench and he just plays cup games and plays the last 10 minutes because he's really fucking fast and whatever, or you need to have sold him by now. Like surely when he's 25, 26, he still has some resale value. Even if it's back to the fucking MLS, he was like the best player in the league. Right, there's got to be something you can recoup there, but they just
awful.
They just keep him. They just fucking keep him.
He's just awful.
But yeah, he killed so many attacks.
That's all he's ever done since he's
attacks.
gotten there is look fast and flashy and kill their attacks. That's his fucking. That's his only skills.
Yep.
So annoying.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a short episode because there just wasn't that. Yeah, tell me about the Everton game because, I mean, the highlights, I didn't watch either Sunday match live, but the highlights couldn't have been more useless. I mean, maybe just nothing happened in the game, so that's why there were no highlights, but it was just fucking, I was like, what is this?
My boy Patterson.
Easy, clean.
I mean, he's their best defender, therefore he got no bonus points, but... Begovic Renaissance, he just comes in, bam, 9-pointer, easy game for Asmir. They just defended well. I mean, they had Gay was just a fucking monster. They just, and Onana's, throwing himself about. They just have, with Awobes, is like they have a real intense engine room now.
Dude, I love Awobes.
I mean, the goal was a fucking classic
Neil Worldy.
Basically didn't play the whole game. But he did that one action. I mean, he could not have done less. The rest of the game, he did absolutely nothing. But essentially, we're playing with 10 men. They're going to struggle for goals. I mean, Gray, we know, struggles to score. And Gordon, he runs around or whatever, but he's not like some, 15-goal player. But they're going to defend like this. I mean, they were very just solid defensively. I mean, sure, they gave up, some half chances here and there. I think West Ham hit the bar once or something like that.
Yeah, that was a Ben Rama, worldy curler with his left foot. That was fucking unreal, yeah.
But just generally speaking, I think it's like similar sort of like to what we were talking about Stevie and something that, I mean, they have just don't concede any goals. Like they've conceded like 7 goals in 7 games. I mean, the team just defends well. Yep. And, in any like home game against like bottom 14, that's just the start. That's just a good FPL start. Yep. I mean, I should
have followed you, dude. I went Nico. I should have. Well,
I kind of didn't play that well in that because I kind of was talking you into like this is your guy instead of like I think he's. I mean, the only 4 million defender I have on my team is Patterson.
Yeah.
And I felt very good about him. Picking him this week, but. Yeah, Everton just a good, really good defensive team. It's going to keep them up. There's no question. I mean, they still will get DCL back. And they have, I mean, Holgate, Mina, Godfrey. I mean, they still have some like injuries to their defenders, but Cody and Tarko are just. I mean, they at least like are adults. I mean, they're not like Holgate running around like committing red card challenges and just running out of position all the time.
Yeah.
So, and their deficiencies are being hidden. They're not playing in a high line like they, often were, with Wolves and, in the back three or whatever, and with Burnley sometimes, right? So, they don't have to turn. So they're not getting fucked. And they look good.
Yep.
Michael Anko, I think is just bad, though. I think he's a bad player.
I think he was doing a good job when they were in a 3. And now that they're not, he's just doing a very bad job.
Yeah, I just think that he was very expensive. I think it's just a really bad buy. And I mean, he's still really young.
He's young.
But he's exposed every game when I watch Everton. I'm like, he's their worst player. Yeah.
Vitali. Yeah, he's 23. I mean, he's still got something.
I'm really happy that he's benching McNeil where he belongs.
McNeil's fucking awful.
They spend, again, a lot of money on him, but I'm very happy with Franklin that he's actually just not, you're English, and we just bought you, so you're automatically starting until he puts a bank of like 18 games of like, wow, you have 1 assist and no goals in 18 games. Now I'll bench you. He should be on the bench, and I'm happy that he's on the bench. I'm just shouting that out for Franklin.
Yeah. Good job. Yeah, Franklin's doing a good job. Like you said, I think maybe it was preseason or some at some point very early, you were like, the best thing that he's done is recognize that this is a relegation team.
Yeah.
And like play like that from game week 1. And I totally agree. I mean, that is the best thing that he's done.
And they have Gardner too. He didn't play, but he's another person that is competent, who's going to come into that midfield. So yeah, I mean, he's got all of a sudden, Everton have just a lot of really decent, not flashy, no big names, and certainly no big goal scorers, but just good midfielders, and that's a lot more than a lot of squads can say.
It's kind of funny how they
what
went
they're
from like, when is Frank and Stevie gonna get sacked to they both just win.
Yeah.
And just like there's actually there's 3 teams but worse than both of these teams probably. So, they're probably fine.
On the other side of that is David Moyes.
Yeah, I still think they're fine. I honestly do. You don't think so?
They've been really, really bad all year. And they were really bad, finishing up last year too.
Yeah, they were.
I think the thing with him that's starting to confound me is that he's just picking the wrong team every week. I think to me, that's like something that starts to smell to me when they're just like very obvious things that he's doing that aren't making any sense. Like the fact that Cornet has not started once yet is insane. It's just insane. You look at who they have. You're like, there's no reason in the world why you start Fornals over him ever. I mean, they both run around and press. He fucking was a left back. He's playing as basically look at him as an out of position left back.
I like Fornals.
No, I mean I like Fornals too. Don't get me wrong, but this is similar to he's just a presser. He'll score the odd goal here or there, but he's a presser, and you're not going to be progressing. You don't but you bought him to fucking back up Fornals. Like no, that's not why you bought him. He's way better. Paquetá was absolutely insane in the Everton game. He was the worst player on the field by miles.
Yeah, these types of things you don't get in highlights because all I saw was he had like a header. I didn't see anything else that he did.
Insanely bad, like insanely bad. Yes, he was the worst player.
That's actually
on the
scary.
Field by
He's
a lot.
Supposed to be really good.
That's fine. I mean, he was completely lost and out of his depth. There are just these things. He goes to the back 4, playing Cresswell left back again. I mean,
that's rough.
It's rough. I mean, it's just rough stuff watching it. And I don't know what's happened. Souček actually played pretty well, but I mean, I don't know. Their balance is just so fucked up. Antonio buying Skamaka, not playing him. I mean, Bowens just looks like a shell of his former self. They just have no balance, and everything is just really disjointed over there. I think that they're in a little bit of trouble. Honestly, I do. I'm worried about them.
I don't think they're in any trouble, honestly.
I mean, not trouble in the sense that they're like going to get relegated or anything, but just trouble in the sense of like, this was a team last year who were pushing for top 6, and then, they still have Thursday. They added to the squad, and he's treating them all like they're Vlasic. And it's like, what are you doing? You're just going to keep playing Antonio, 3,400 minutes. He's going to score 5 goals again. It's just, where are they? Where's this team going? I just don't know.
Well, I feel like that's almost a broader discussion of like, what is mid-table Premier League? Everyone would always say like, why isn't Brighton spending their 80 million they just made in the transfer window on a striker? They'd be so good. Well, the reason they don't do that is because there's no fucking value finishing like 8th instead of 11th.
13th or something, right?
So why the fuck would they spend the money? They just would make more money doing this, and they just finish comfortably mid-table. I don't know. West Ham's like, they're boring. I don't want to watch their games. Blah 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 blah. But like, they're fine. I think they're still just like a mid-table-ish team.
Yeah. I think if any, it's just they're not going to be in the Conference Championship League next year. I mean, this is a team that's more or less adrift, and they'll finish somewhere mid-table, and someone else, some other plucky team who has a faster start will supplant them. I just think, to me, it maybe is just the beginning of the end for Moyes. And not to think it's going to be something dramatically or drastically done like tomorrow, but these type of drab performances have been kind of persisting for a while and carrying on in the league for a while. And the way he integrates or doesn't integrate players is just upside down world to me.
And the classic Moyes Everton thing was, finish really well, like competing for top 6, whatever, and then finish like, lower mid-table, like 13th or something, and just seesaw that back to back. And it's like, this has always just been Moyes' Everton team. Like this West Ham team is, so I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, and they're going to lose Rice.
I think Cooper's in more trouble, dude, because even though the fans...
that's because the owner, though. You're
the fans love him. But, it's not just the owner. They're also just behind Leicester for the worst team in the league. They're fucking awful team. And then, if it was up to the fans, I think they would be full faith behind Cooper. But this fucking owner, just Wikipedia, their owner is the criminal fucking mastermind Greek psychopath. Yeah. So, I'm worried for Cooper's life, not just his job.
Yeah, I mean, this goes away from like the conversation of like, what do we really think to like, what do we think will happen? Right? Yeah. And no, I mean, I believe Cooper's a very competent and solid manager, and he just has a brand new squad that didn't come in before preseason. They came in like by game week 4.
Yeah.
And he just needs time to do the things. And, I feel like, if he can pick up like 6 or 7 points until the World Cup, like still be in the relegation zone and then go home, to look at what everything is. And, I think that they have a chance of staying
6 or 7 points in 16 games?
What do they, how many points
you mean
right now?
From now?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
In addition,
sorry.
I mean, if they win like 2 or 3,
4, they're on 4 right now.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get like to 12 or something, maybe 11, I don't know. I mean, if they could win a few games from 9 to
8 points in the next 9, yeah.
I mean, maybe that's low. But in general, I just think if he can limp over the line to the World Cup, like I feel like in the back 9 of the last 18, when he gets to play other teams twice and he has everyone there for a few months, that he might be able to do enough to keep them up. But it's the thing with them that it's still like very annoying is they came up kind of like against the run of the grain sort of thing. Yeah. And they lost their fucking whole team. Like that's what team. I mean, what are you supposed to do?
The whole fucking team.
Yeah. And I mean, that's genuinely what happens. Like they bought smartly. If they go down, they bought smartly. Like they bought very young players. I mean, Dennis is maybe a little bit of an outlier.
Except
there,
like
but
Lingard, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is a 1-year deal. I mean, they bought like they didn't commit like long-term money to like anyone, but they needed a fucking new team. So, you can't put Cooper there and say like this is all your fault when he's like, dude, I've had these players for a month. Like it's ridiculous.
And with a game every fucking 3 days, so it's like.
I mean,
but yeah,
they were in
they have
relegation.
A lot of young players. Yeah.
When they hired him, they were in the relegation zone of the championship. Like he won like a million games.
Games. Yeah, they just won every game basically. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
But
he should. I mean, he should get more time. They probably will get relegated, but that's what was expected. But at least he gives you a good game. Like watching their games is fun.
Yeah, they already have. They do some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they already have like fucking. They won a game.
Yeah, not bad. It's better than Leicester.
Yeah.
This is. I don't know what else we're going to talk about, but LR's question was sort of like in line with what we're talking about, which is it's a good time to do a halfway through part 1 of the season, meta, thought dump. How are we feeling about the next 8 game weeks? Obviously, until that's when the World Cup is. How are the next 8 game weeks going to pan out? Any thoughts jump out? Like, I don't know. Is there any sort of broad things, first half of the first half that we're learning or thinking or feeling?
Well, I think, the biggest thing to me this season, I mean, it's representative on how much money I just spent on my defense and wild card, is just like, I think the league and the teams in the league have shifted very far away from what we've been maybe used to for like a nice, 4 or 5 year period when we have, the Stokes and the Swanseas of the world coming up, Burnleys, just happy to park, not play, try to eke out 0-0s, try not to get spanked, and just take your toys home, and hope you finish with 40 points. Sunderland. I mean, we had typically 5 teams in the league that were home bankers for clean sheets, if not more. Maybe sometimes more in the 7 range. Where you look at the Arsenal of years past, Liverpool,
some
Chelsea,
of those Watford
City,
years,
Man United,
they didn't attack.
Yeah. But we have these years where we have these teams, say the past 5-6 years where they're, the top 4 proverbial, and you have 6, bottom from 15 down, any one of those home or away games, you got a good 10 of them on the calendar where you're just like, this is a clean sheet.
Yeah.
We have one team like that in the league right now. It's just Bournemouth. That's it. That's literally. Yes. Okay. We got Everton and Bournemouth. That's it. You have 2. And to me, that just means, I don't want to be spending a lot of money on my defenders.
No.
I get it that we also have that counterpoint of, right, defenders then weren't wingbacks, right, where we have a lot of defenders now that are wingers. And, you're going to have some outliers to these this generalization.
Still getting max bones.
Right. For however that's happening, I don't know. But, you're going to have some outliers to this rule. But I think just in that, general grain is something that I kind of have, as the seasons progressed, just watching these games this year and, watching Fulham, watching NFO, even Newcastle, Brighton. I mean, Wolves, they can't score, but they try to score at least now.
Yeah, they counter and shit. Yeah, they shoot.
Yeah, I mean, they're just these teams where I'm looking, like, almost every time I'm looking at these the fixture run, like, of the next 6 for any team, just like how many clean sheets are there? Every time I'm like, 2?
Yeah, I think that is the biggest takeaway and the biggest change from where we were preseason. I'm totally with you. I brought it up like a month ago, and it wasn't fully, fleshed out, but I was thinking, like, there aren't that many dinosaur park the bus managers anymore.
Yeah,
like those guys just don't exist. The guys who are getting the new jobs are like cool and young and like innovative and
Italian
analytics
guy
driven
to Brighton or whatever, De Serbi, or I mean, these fucking weird ass guys from Shakhtar who are 35 are coming over and being like, "Hey, we're gonna do this crazy shit."
Yeah,
like, okay.
There's no Pulis, there's no Boy, there's no Big Sam. They're not even really shouted as like consideration for jobs. It's like, no, we would rather get. Yeah, no, I mean it's great. It's amazing. Dyche. I'm sure Dyche will get another job. He's still, not 90 years old like Roy, but like, I don't know. There's just not those guys. And I think that it's making for a lot more, let's just have a go type of situations where it's like, it doesn't matter. There's no difference between losing 1-0 and 5-0. So let's just try and score. Yeah.
I mean, and I think that is just a general thing that you can look at your team and think of, how can I use this to apply? Because, we looked at too, right? Like the goals are up and shit,
Yeah, what was that? I wish I had that graphic so I could show it, but it was from the above average.
5 subs. The 5 subs is a big deal.
Huge for cleans.
It's a big deal. I mean, the last 20 minutes aren't dead rubbers anymore. It's like,
Brentford
4
last
new
year
players
would probably have blanked in a bunch of these games and just lost 2-0, and now they just make 5 attacking subs and change their shape. Yeah.
There
was an above average graphic that they showed, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like whenever they did it, the first 6 game weeks last year versus the first 6 game weeks this year, and it was just the team sort of grouped by their XG per 90, and it was just a lot fucking wider. It was exactly what we're talking about. It was where last year, or maybe the past few years, whatever it was, the bottom, third of the table was like, these teams don't attack, these teams don't score goals. And then this year, so far, it's been that middle range has widened a lot. The elite range has widened barely, but the middle range mostly has widened a lot. And that don't attack, don't score range is just very small.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good
one. Do you have anything for you that's kind of standing out at this marker spot?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Okay. I mean, I think like the bench thing, right? Like you just don't need a bench because the 5 subs everyone fucking plays every game. You don't need a bench.
Yeah.
I mean, the pile up too is a little bit, we haven't really experienced it too hard yet. But, seeing like Son not play a game, like that kind of thing's going to happen. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything off the top of my head, but I'll think about it more. We have a week and a half until we're potting again, so we'll get there, I guess. All right, dude. Let me. What do you have, like preliminary moves, caps, thoughts on your team?
No, I mean, I think I'm gonna just save. My team's good. I don't know. I have to figure out if I'm gonna start Fofana or not. I think, but I'm on Holland cap. I might go to Mo. I'll see what.
Yeah, I've been thinking
transpires. Yeah, I'll see what transpires over the next couple of weeks. I could see switching. That.
Yeah, it's one of those where the fixture might actually be big enough, like in difference, right?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Manchester United have just looked a lot more solid defensively over the last while. It's just going to be such a weird game week, I think, because you have some teams like Manchester United who will not have played for like a month, you know?
Yeah,
So,
and Liverpool and Chelsea and Brighton and Palace. Every team that didn't play this past game week, haven't played in a month. Yeah.
So it's, it's one of those where you could talk yourself into either adventure of they're so rested, so they're going to be amazing, or it's like, oh, they have no rhythm because they haven't played for so long, so they're fucked.
Yeah.
And how much
I feel like it's usually the
month
latter.
Yeah, but I mean, how much difference is a month and like 3 weeks or 2 weeks? It's like none of these. I don't know. So,
it's impossible to quantify, really.
Yeah, it is. So I mean, I think that's just going to be the call that we'll make closer to the deadline on Mo or Holland.
It's sort of like the Liverpool call or the Mo call is basically like, are we getting the Liverpool that we thought we were going to get in preseason, or are we getting the Liverpool that we saw in the first, whatever it was, 6 game weeks, 5 game weeks? And because that basically makes the call for us, right? Because if this was game week 1 or something, or game week 2 even, right? Just imagine these fixtures game week 2. Holland fucking braces, Mo does his normal game week 1 thing, everything's great. We would 1,000,000% be on Mo, and everyone would be. So it's like, that's the sort of call that we got to make. But this is my team, and probably an easy save for me too. I mean,
definitely.
I've Nico over Saliba and Gahey this week, and then probably won't see Nico for a long time in my team. But hopefully it does the thing for me one time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that the Mo fixture might be enough. Yeah.
Let me throw it on him for now. Yeah, cheeky little save.
It might be enough. And it's a huge differential captain because, everyone's going to be on Holland again.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, he's going to be at Varane and I don't know. I mean, that's just going to be a tough Darb game. And Mo could be a walk in the park against the new manager. Just like, let's go express ourselves kind of thing, I'm kind of getting into Mo a little bit here, but we'll get there.
We'll see what happens in 2 weeks. Yeah.
All right.
Let me slap. I think there's an ass to slap. Yeah, one ass. Patrick T. Patrick Tweed. Get in there, Patty. New Patreon son. Slap your ass, baby. All right, bro. Any last words?
I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow, dude. Check us out at FMLfield.com. Follow us on Twitter at FMLfield Sports page.com/FMLfield. Subscribe right to the